I'm not, 100% confident, I just know, the caliber of fighter that Errol is, just like I know the caliber fighter of Tim. I think both of them have taken a lot of damage in their career so far. But I just think, Errol skill-wise, just edge.
I disagree. I think Errol Spence is the sharper fighter. I do. I think he's the sharper fighter. I think he's crispier. And I think his shot, his punch selection is better. And I think that he has the better shot of landing that right.
The Spence versus Tszyu debate is getting louder, and the expert picks are all over the place. As fight night gets closer, former champions, trainers, and top analysts have all locked in their final predictions, but nobody is agreeing. Let's break down every expert pick ahead of this massive showdown.
The kid really is special. Like, the dude really is special, and I know
he's not Dennis Nurja.
I know these things about him. Like, he has the ability to see your balance and make you move. You know what I mean? Like, he's really like one of those master kung fu artists, but in boxing. You know what I mean? So he's a masterful boxer. You know?
Yeah.
And so those are the kind of things that we're looking at a Tim Tszyu that doesn't have that kind of stuff.
Roy Jones Jr. described this as an evenly matched comeback fight with both men looking to rebuild. He pointed to Tszyu's punching power as a serious threat, but noted that Spence has faced hard hitters his entire career, making this one genuinely difficult to predict.
In Australia, what are your thoughts there?
I think it's a really good fight too. The good thing about the fight is that they both are on the way back up. They're on the rebound, so he's a rebound guy fighting another rebound guy, which makes it kind of equal, but Tim Tszyu is a hard puncher. So we'll have to see what happens. I think Errol is used to dealing with hard punchers, but we'll see what happens.
Teofimo Lopez called Spence versus Tszyu a dream fight and voiced strong support for Spence to come out on top. He also noted that Spence already looks in excellent shape, crediting his commitment to training heading into this comeback bout.
It's a dream come true. Errol Spence, Australia, Tim Tszyu. Heck yeah. I really want to see him win. I don't think so. I think Errol Spence has been truly non-stop working out. He already looks like he's in shape.
While public perception of Tszyu has shifted after recent defeats, Eddie Hearn pushed back hard. He argued Tszyu remains a high-quality fighter with plenty left to offer, and warned that facing him after a 2-year layoff makes this comeback especially risky for Spence. In Hearn's view, this is a genuinely dangerous test.
I think Tim, for a while now, Tim has been a much avoided fighter because, there was this kind of perception of him that he was this monster. But the reality is he's had a couple of defeats and people look upon him now as a kind of opponent. And that's what Errol Spence's team are doing. But I think Tim's more than an opponent. I think he's a very good fighter and I think he's got a lot about him. And I think it's a very dangerous fight for Errol Spence to come back. I think it's going to be really interesting. And
Prograis pointed to Spence's age and long layoff as the biggest question marks heading into this fight. While power tends to stick around, reflexes, footwork, and hand speed naturally fade over time. The real test, according to Prograis, is whether Spence can still avoid punches and absorb Tszyu's offense the way he used to.
He's 36, he's right under me, so that is old for a fighter. Now people are thinking about it a little better, but it's still old for a fighter. So like I said, we would have to see what happens. We would have to see where Errol shows up because the reflexes they do leave. And that's the main thing you need in boxing: the reflex, the foot speed, the hand speed. You need that power always gonna be there, but it's not about how you can hit. It's not a heavy bag. It's gonna hit back. So Tim Tszyu gonna hit him back, and if he can still take the punches, if he can still move from the punches, that'll be the question.
Lonnie B questioned whether Tszyu was the right first fight back for Spence after such a long absence. He viewed the matchup as a genuinely difficult assignment under the circumstances and ultimately sided with Tszyu to get the win.
I think it's good. I think it's good for Spence. Tim Tszyu is a lot to bite off of a first fight back coming off his destruction of Terrence Crawford. I just think that's... If I had to pick, I would lean more towards Tim Tszyu.
Bradley backs Spence firmly, pointing to his fundamentals, relentless pressure, and punch volume as the keys to breaking Tszyu down. He also referenced reports that Tszyu struggled badly in sparring with his own younger brother, which only strengthened Bradley's belief that Spence eventually stops him.
Errol Spence, he's one of those fighters that know how to fight. He know how to fight. Errol Spence know what the hell we got to do. Errol Spence is the master of the basics. He know what the hell he got to do. Ain't nothing gonna change. He gonna let them hands go. He gonna take it to Tim Tszyu, you know. And Tim Tszyu is one of those guys, you know, stand right in front of you. He ain't one of them guys that pick up his feet and move. Nah, Tim Tszyu little brother better than him. He better than him. Tim Tszyu brother probably be whooping his ass in sparring. Yeah, he be whooping his ass. I already know he do. Yeah, lefty, he be moving his head side. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I know he be whooping his ass in the gym for real. But they don't be talking about it. But yeah, I think Errol Spence, I think he gonna beat Tim Tszyu. He gonna knock him out. Tim Tszyu is done. He 31 and he done.
Zittel broke down the stylistic matchup in detail, arguing that Spence presents a uniquely difficult puzzle for Tszyu. He pointed to Spence's ability to control the jab before opening up with body shots, hooks, and precise uppercuts that gradually wear opponents down. His verdict: Tszyu has to find an answer to that persistent jab, or this fight slips away from him completely.
In the Spence fight, because in this fight he still would put some, you know, take something off the shots and then boom, finish with a sharp shot to the body, a real sharp shot to the body, or a real heavy left hook, nice uppercut here and there. And so what I'm curious about in the Spence fight, from what I've seen from each of their last fights, Spence 3 years ago against Terrence, and against Terrence Crawford, he'll make you not look good. He'll make you not quite look like what you are. But I still think Tszyu is a little sharper punch for punch. The sharp punches he would put together off his combinations, they still look sharper than Errol. But the interesting thing is, Errol Spence, I think, is bigger than him. Even though he's never officially fought at 154, I think Errol's a bigger man than him once he gets up to 54. And the main problem for Tim Tszyu against Errol is going to be that jab. What does he do against that busy, constant jab
Errol
on Errol's side? Right? Yeah, Errol just keeping that jab. And
Zittel argued that the agreed catch weight of 158 pounds already gives Spence a physical edge, despite his years spent at welterweight. He also suggested Tszyu may still be carrying the effects of the Fundora fight, while Spence enters as a relentless pressure fighter who simply never stops attacking until the final bell.
58 because of Errol Spence. Even though Errol Spence has never competed at this level as a super welterweight, he was a career welterweight, he's bigger than Tim Tszyu, and Tim Tszyu thinks he's the bigger guy. And it was Spence who insisted on this fight being 4 pounds heavier at 158. So I thought between the size, between Tszyu, I think having a little PTSD, which he says he doesn't, but I do see something from Tszyu. Sometimes when he takes punches now, ever since the first Fundora fight, there's that PTSD that shows up. And Spence, whether he's well faded or not, is a Texas dog. He's gonna just keep fighting and fighting and throwing until he goes out on his sheet.
Who are you picking, Errol Spence Jr. or Tim Tszyu? Does Spence make a triumphant comeback, or does Tszyu prove he's still elite? Drop your pick in the comments. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.
Nothing special, you know, in regards to his skill set, right? Again, he's just a kung fu fighter, and he's decent, and what he does is he's a decent boxer, you know. But he is. This could be potentially dangerous. Again, it's 50.